was a father that posted a photo of their child in the bathtub where you couldn't see everything, but you could see enough, and it said on the top of it, they have no idea what's going to happen to them tonight. And then underneath there was comments with other people saying what they were going to do to this person's child.
Oh my God.
And at this point, remember, I have access to their server and they don't know it. So after I spoke to my attorney, who told me, hey, you did break federal law, you know, like, if you report this, you're risking going to prison. But I was just thinking to myself, if I bring this to trial, what jury is going to convict me? I mean, I just don't think, guilty or not, I'm willing to take my chances. So I reached out to my attorney, reached out to another attorney in Virginia, since he was a guy trying to run for Congress. I spoke to over 10 news stations. I have some of the calls recorded with them. Everybody was interested in this story. They thought it was amazing. As soon as it got to legal, not one of them posted the story. Even when I said remove my name from it, remove any of the info I obtained illegally from it, just alert people that this website exists on the internet, nobody posted it. I got an FBI report tip line number. I think it was a website, ic3.gov. It's an Internet Complaint Center report number. So I got that. The kicker, which is what got me started in this, after all of that, is 6 months later, I'm watching the news, or I'm reading the news online. I see Nathaniel Larson arrested at an airport at a layover with a 12-year-old girl that he kidnapped and raped. And they were fully aware of what he was doing. They're fully aware of the 3,000 other people that I caught on the website with their IP addresses, their emails, their chat history, everything about them. A case, on a golden platter for any district attorney.
They're just letting this slide.
And nothing happened. They didn't even bring up his websites in the news articles. So not saying that things wouldn't have happened to other children with all the guys.
No, you have to think that. I mean, how many people?
That's what it makes me feel
through
like.
that inactivity had their lives ruined.
Yeah, because those guys are still, they haven't been arrested. I still have the information right now.
It's your favorite show, Slick and Thick. It's your boy, Gerard Michaels, the funniest man you never heard of. Thicky Smalls himself. And to my left, standing at 6'3", 200 pounds, and every one of them is a problem. The master of punks, the tamer of sages, the king of the ring, Slick Rick Mick, the ruler. Fuck, I was so close.
I was just about to say, look how professional he is. Look how professional. He just hit that shit 2 times in a row.
Yeah, man.
What's
Slick
up,
Mick,
baby?
the ruler. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
I am super excited because you brought along some friends today, bro.
I brought around a couple heroes here, a couple 1-2 heroes. In this piece.
Yeah, that's not a small word. That's a big word. And I actually agree with
2 syllables. But.
Well, hero. Yeah, it's also a sandwich, which I am very much a fan of. Yeah, big fan of the hero sandwich. Now,
should I introduce the 2 heroes here?
I think you should, because listen.
No further ado.
We've had some pretty big guests on this show already, man. We've had movie stars. We've had adult movie stars. Mm-hmm. We've had some wrestlers. We've had people, with millions of followers and clout. We've had bank robbers. We've had some
an eclectic group, if you will.
We have had an eclectic group.
Yes.
Of individuals, and I have never been more excited.
Have we had 2 people on at once though before? We did Billy and Bobby, but that never aired.
Yeah, the people don't know about that. We also did the 2 girls at the same time in Vegas, which was a lot of fun. But that hasn't aired yet either.
I think it's gonna air before this one though. No.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that was a whole party there, huh?
That was the whole thing.
It's a big thing.
Anyway, so this is our first time with 2 guys. Way less excited, but excited for the guests.
With no further ado, what we got here is my longtime friend, Dustin Scrappy Lampros.
Yo.
Clap it up. Everybody clap it up. Show heroes their proper respect.
Word.
Anybody listening in the interwebs, do the same. And we have Ryan, motherfucker, Montgomery.
Montgomery, clap it up. Do you go by Monty? Are you Monty?
No.
Is that too British?
Yo, they pulled up in here in Bam Margera's car.
No way, for real?
Straight up, purple Lambo.
Wow. Lambo?
Yeah, purple Lambo.
Who got Lambo cake around
He's
here?
like, I don't know. Who does have Lambo
Monty
cake?
Blue Eyes got Lambo cake?
Monty Blue Eyes.
You know what I'm saying?
Could have used you in Vegas.
Who deserves it more than these freaking heroes right here? So we talked about on the podcast before. I talked about my friend Scrappy, who was busting pedophiles and child predators.
Yep.
And these are the guys right here.
That might have been on the episode that didn't air.
No, we talked about it on a couple of them.
You've talked about it on a few.
We talked about it on a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
speaks very highly of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I admire your guys' work. I'd like to hear a lot more about it. Obviously, we're going to talk about it. I have some opinions. I dig the hell out of it, but I want to hear how you guys started this up. It's called the 561 PC.
Right, short for 561, which is our area code, and PCs for predator catcher.
Predator catcher?
Predator catchers, plural, but yeah, either one.
Okay.
Now,
5,
when
6,
you
1
catch the
PC.
predator, does it put in the self-destruct mechanism, or
Yeah.
how do you disable that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you disable
What
it?
is this, a superhero joke? I don't get it.
It's from a movie, Mick. Engage in the culture one time.
Nah.
Nah?
Nah.
Have you ever run into any aliens when you were chasing predators?
It's close enough.
Yeah, I would say they're pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw one.
Well, those would be my last 2 opportunities for jokes as we get into really serious topics for the rest of the hour.
Nah, I think we'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So tell us about it. How did you get started in this?
Okay,
What's your like passion behind this? So actually, I'll give a little quick of backup. Basically, and you correct me if I'm wrong. You guys have someone pretending to be like a child, like a 13-year-old girl, texting with an adult man. You then say, "Come meet me at Walmart" or something like that. They show up, and it's Scrappy.
I mean,
Less enthused.
pretty in a
Like he's a
sense.
handsome man, but like, not
Handsome
what I was
man.
looking for.
Yeah.
In a
no.
nutshell,
He's
that's what
Chris
it is.
Handsome.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot
Handsome,
more.
yeah.
It's Chris Handsome
All right,
over
so tell
here.
me about it. I want to hear about it.
That's a Boondocks joke.
So
We got the Chris Handsome thing.
It's a Boondocks joke.
All right.
I don't want the God forbid the internet and these and Gas Digital's like that's a joke from 14 years ago. 14 years ago, it is. Anyway,
So it's you're almost spot on. So we have a decoy that lives in another state. She's a grown woman. She uses
She used her pictures. She poses like a young girl.
She like basically like she assists us, works for us on all of them. You know, she's the one who's chatting with the predators. You know, she
Right.
has accounts online set up online that she talks to them. So they'll message her first and.
But we never ask them to meet up. So I wanted to correct that one. We always wait for the guy to say anything sexual, say anything, about meeting up, say anything.
Let
is all
him
led
really
by
dig
the
his
man.
own grave.
yeah, give
Yeah,
him enough
literally
rope to
spot
hang
on.
himself
A
with.
kid's gonna act like a kid. So if she's gonna decoy as a kid, she's gonna act like a kid the entire time. So if there is anything that is talked about sexually, it's responded to.
Tell them how we started though. Tell them like your
Okay, so-
background and.
So the reason why we started in the first place was I've been in cybersecurity for about 19 years, which in
Explains
simple
the
terms
Lambo.
is ethical hacking. I own a couple cybersecurity software companies, and for the last a little over 2 years, I've been working with organizations across the country that are catching predators. There's a whole different long story in between that, but the one difference between me for 2.5 years doing this and what we're doing now is I was finding information on these predators. So let's say, John Doe sends me a message with a picture of a guy's face. He's using a fake username. He's using a fake free phone number. And all they have is a couple messages with him, but he never shows up, or they're planning to meet up, but they don't know who this guy is. So they relied on me for quite a long time, and still do to some degree, to find out who these people are with zero information other than sometimes.
When
like
you
I
say
said,
is this law enforcement that you're working with, or
No.
Other predator catchers, like
Other
big
predator
big
catchers.
organizations around the world, like the biggest ones.
interesting?
Who are some of those?
So
bodies?
we have Trilogy Media, we have Courtney Elizabeth, we have Skeet Hansen, we have CC Unit. There's so many, and they're in every single state. But they're
One time we will allow
Justin
free
Payne
shout-outs.
is a huge.
No, this is our
This
free
is
shout out.
as many free
I
shout-outs
got
as
shit
you
to
want.
Google
One
tonight.
time, yeah.
But
No,
there's
I fuck
nobody
with
down
this.
here. There's nobody in South Florida other than us.
Okay.
Why does it fall on you guys and not law enforcement?
It doesn't fall on us. So what they would consider, which we don't like being called this, but we understand why, is it's considered vigilante justice. We're taking the law into our own hands. The one thing we're not doing is we're not detaining them, but we're embarrassing them to the max of our capability by the law. But there is no such thing as entrapment for us. We have the ability to call a predator's family members, their job, their wives, their husbands. If it's a female, we have the ability to do things that police can't. Going back into the original question, when Scrappy and I got involved in this, we were hanging out one day. We were trying to think of some ideas, and I was like, "Hey, well, I've been doing this for a while, but I'd like to go catch one in person." And it's hard to find somebody that can stomach this type of thing.
It was we were just hanging out, and you just kind of brought up he brought up how he's been doing it for the past 2 years as like the info guy, like the behind the scenes guy. And, you know, it got on the topic because I have, you know, 2 people in my life that very close to that have been victims of it. And I think, you know, we were just kind of chatting, and then he brought up how he does that. And I was like, you know, that's crazy, you know? And then he was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do it in person myself, but I've never had anyone to do it with. And I'm like, I'm your guy. I'm like, I'll do that, you know? Like, I have no problem, you know, confronting these guys. And, you know, at the time, I really didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. I just know that there's been people close to me in my life that have been victims of it. And here's someone who's been involved in it for 2 years. So I was like, yeah, you know, like, how do we, like, you know, what's it about? So he dove, like, to get the step-by-step how it happened. He just went on the laptop at the house, and he's like, here, I'll show you how easy it is. And he set up a fake account within like 2 minutes, and we had like 30 different like grown men messaging us. And
That was for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, that was for a 9-year-old.
Jeez.
And he's like, I'll show you how easy it is. And then it was like,
Holy.
it was
With less than 5 minutes. I mean,
literally less than 5 minutes. We
I
had
show any-
multiple
yeah.
people. So I was like, all right, I'm convinced. Like, this is wild. So
Yeah.
then,
And that's just in this area?
yeah.
everywhere.
that-
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we're doing, we're focusing on just this area, but this is
Yo,
an
guys,
issue.
this is God's work.
No,
You
yeah.
guys are
So-
doing God's work.
So that's when, like, when he seen that, that's when, like, got my stomach turned. I was like, because when he said it, he's like, watch, I'll have 40 different people want to talk and meet up right now. I'm like, so he gets on there, creates the account within, you know, a minute or two. Just like on some,
When you say on there,
Just
not
like any
to give
chat-
out too many,
like
so it's
chat
a chat
sites.
room?
I
just
joined
chat rooms.
a teen chat, a free public teen chat
yeah,
room
like Florida
online.
Teen Chat. You can go on, like, you remember back in the day we had AOL?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these
yeah.
teen chats are just like crawling with grown
Crawling
men
with
who
them.
are trying to fucking.
Oh, it's
All
more,
of-
it's
all-
more grown men than teens.
it's all of them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad, and that's not what that's and the part, you know, this I'm sure we could save this for later for more conversation, but it's not the teen chats where we're getting these guys primarily. It's
Facebook,
Instagram, Snapchat,
It's everything.
Tinder. It's everything. It's that's why we reinforce the idea of checking your kid's phone. Because you know you don't. These people think that you know their kids are talking to their friends on their games and like on their Xbox Lives or PlayStations and their Snapchats, all the different social media platforms and games, and they don't know if they're talking to a 50-year-old man or a 13-year-old girl. They have no idea who
Right.
they're speaking to,
Yeah.
and they
They
you know,
just, like, will start, yeah, they'll just start talking.
one of our first catches. Sent a
But that's
picture-
what I was going to get at. So
Go ahead.
then basically how it, like, you know, giving you guys the full rundown, like, it was like a week later, and he brought it up again. He's like, hey, are you serious about doing this? I reached out to a couple of decoys, people that could potentially decoy for us. And I'm like, yeah, you know. And he's like, but they won't be able to start working for us or start decoying for us for like another week or so. So he's like, we should just, like, you know, create a account right now just to see. You know, we had like a Saturday night not doing anything. And so we did, and we created 2 different accounts. And it was in about like an hour later, we had some like 60-year-old guy wanting to meet up with like a 13-year-old boy. And yeah, and it's, you know, it's a pretty,
it's messed up.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I don't even, it's sometimes, it's like,
It's
you
messed
don't
up,
even know what to
and
say.
it's kind of hard to like
It's sick, you know?
almost like verbalize as well. But like it's just we know it's not good for the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's sick to put it
It's
simply.
life- it's
and
life
and it
ruining
changes
shit, yeah.
and it changes people. And I've heard like that's a lot of times the way it perpetuates. It's like they're almost like the reproduction. Like the kids who get, you know, molested and at a young age, they often become a pedophile
Abuser themselves. Yeah.
because it kind of stunts them, and however it does, if their wiring.
No,
you know what I mean?
100%. Of
We
course.
ran
How
into that
creation-
a few times.
Yeah, we ran into that, but no,
I
they
bet.
like yeah, these guys are sick, you know what I mean? Like they're literally like preying on children. That's why they're predators.
Yeah.
And that guy specifically, you know, we talked to him for like not even an hour. He wanted to meet up, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to meet up and meet 11 o'clock on a Saturday night."
Right.
On, you know what I mean, at a Starbucks that was closed, basically, like. And you know, it was kind of an interesting. It was like our first run. You know,
Yeah,
we never
it was-
done it in first, and we didn't have any like anything to really go off of. Like he didn't talk sexual or anything, but he wanted to meet a 14-year-old boy and said, "Oh, let's just meet."
That was a
Right.
9-year-old in that case.
Okay, yeah, but it was a boy. Cause
Yeah, regardless.
So
Fucking
you know,
terrible.
you have like a situation, let's say, where that type of thing, and it seems platonic or something like that, right? You
there's
heard
nothing
about
platonic about it.
there's nothing. So that was going to be the question. So if
There's
you
no
take
way.
a guy like Michael Jackson and
It's
like Corey
illegal.
Feldman and those guys, where it's like they were having sleepovers. First of all,
No, they're very
It's-
sexual. They're sending illicit photos. I mean, a lot.
It's illegal though to ask a minor to meet off the
as it
internet.
should be. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
so
to get
there's
an
no- no,
understanding
I don't-
of like, because these people live among us. These are your, I mean, this could be your doctor that you're confronting. This is not like, you know, I've watched a couple of your videos, and what really struck me is how normal these people seemed up until the point of confrontation, right? So it's like, you know, what I'd like to get out of today is getting some sort of understanding of what these people have in common. You know, what the common traits are, what type of things, like what should we be looking out for in our communities if we're not going to be on the hunt ourselves.
I don't
Like,
want to answer for them, but I don't think you can.
Exactly.
I don't
I was
think
about
you
to
can
say
tell.
there is no like it's crazy after we've done this, you know, and we've caught as many as we have, and you go out, you start kind of looking at people different. Like you're like,
I bet.
you know, like this guy is this a guy I'm gonna be catching in a week? You know,
But
like,
are there traits that they have?
no, you can't. We can go through all the guys we've caught, and they're all different from the T's. One's an ex-Marine, you know, 3 tours in Afghanistan. One's a father of 2 boys. One's a guy that's working for the water company in Delray. Like,
We have one that's about to meet us. It's a doctor. I think you just brought up a doctor. We
Yeah.
have one that's going to meet us like in the next couple of days, who's a doctor himself.
yeah, there's
Of
you
all
can't
different-
tell.
yeah.
There's no preventing it. What prevents it? I mean, we're never gonna be able to stop it. Like, it's gonna happen no matter how many people we catch. There's just gonna be the same. Oh, it's gonna be more and more and more.
Would you say it's more prevalent in kind of the heterosexual proclivities, or
It's both.
It's both.
I would say that, you know, and this isn't really my opinion. This is more factual. That, you know, the Grindr and the apps like that, they're more hookup apps than they are dating apps. And if a kid jumps on an app like Grindr, for example, they're asking for trouble regardless if they're meeting up with a kid or they're meeting up with an adult. But you know, adults are a lot more willing on. It has nothing to do with their sexuality, but they're a lot more willing to meet up with somebody off of an app like Grindr.
because that's specifically what it's for?
Yeah, that's specifically what it's for, and that, yeah. I mean, if you see that app on your kid's phone, not only it's not. I wouldn't be mad at them personally for their sexuality. I would be getting the app off of their phone for their safety.
Yeah. And so there was an episode once of Mr. Robot. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you seen Mr. Robot?
Of course.
You know the episode I'm speaking about, where the guy goes into the coffee shop and there's
yeah.
free Wi-Fi, and he's, I guess again, like it's a legal hacker or illegal in this point. He uses the free Wi-Fi to go through the guy's, what was it, his search history, and he found out that this guy was peddling kiddie porn out of the coffee shop, and it was just this everyday shop owner. And apparently that was based on a true story. There was a guy in Europe who was he was a hacker, and he was using this coffee shop's free Wi-Fi. And he was like, oh, let me check out what this guy's got going on. And then boom, it's like, holy shit.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that reminds me of if you. I don't know if you guys are interested in hearing what got me involved 2 years ago, but I can tell you.
Very much so.
Okay, so long story short, this is a very long story, but I got a text message from a friend's wife with some extremely graphic screenshots. Nothing illegal, but the mess, like it was, you know what a forum is? Like, you know, someone makes a post and then people comment underneath of it. So I got some forum posts sent by my friend's wife, who was, you know, saying, you need to check this website out. This is disgusting. Can you do something about it? Because everybody, you know, they assume I'm a hacker. I can do anything. You know, that's people just assume that. So
Can
she
you
sent it
improve
to,
my credit score?
Oh, I get asked that by everyone I know. so
It wasn't a no, man.
it wasn't a no. But so I seen these screenshots, and it got to me. You know, it genuinely got to me, and I went on their website, and skipping all of the technical details, I found a backdoor. I installed 3 backdoors on their server. I was able to download all the message history for every user. I was able to find their private messages where they were trading photos back and forth. I consulted with an attorney to make sure that I wasn't breaking the law by grabbing their data, because I didn't want to be in possession of any of that stuff either. So there's nothing illegal about having the text messages or the contextual evidence. From there, I found the owner of the website through an email address, and the email address came back to a guy named Nathaniel Larson, who was a guy running for Congress in Virginia. Wow. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is going to be all over the news. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew it was big. So I saw there was about 3,000 active users on this website who were doing horrible things. I'll just name one example. There was a father that posted a photo of their child in the bathtub where you couldn't see everything, but you could see enough, and it said on the top of it, they have no idea what's going to happen to them tonight. And then underneath there was comments with other people saying what they were going to do to this person's child.
Oh my
Sick.
God.
And at this point, remember, I have access to their server and they don't know it. So after I spoke to my attorney, who told me, hey, you did break federal law. You know, like, if you report this, you're risking going to prison. But I was just thinking to myself, if I bring this to trial, what jury is going to convict me?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think guilty or not. I'm willing to take my chances. So I reached out to my attorney, reached out to another attorney in Virginia, since he was a guy trying to run for Congress. I spoke to over 10 news stations. I have some of the calls recorded with them. Everybody was interested in this story. They thought it was amazing. As soon as it got to legal, not one of them posted the story. Even when I said, remove my name from it, remove any of the info I obtained illegally from it, just alert people that this website exists on the internet, nobody posted it. So I got an FBI report tip line number. I think it was the website ic3.gov. It's an Internet Complaint Center report number. So I got that. The kicker, which is what got me started in this after all of that, is 6 months later, I'm watching the news or I'm reading the news online. I see Nathaniel Larson arrested at an airport at a layover with a 12-year-old girl that he kidnapped and raped. And they were fully aware of what he was doing. They're fully aware of the 3,000 other people that I caught on the website with their IP addresses, their emails, their chat history, everything about them. A case, on a golden platter for any district attorney.
They're just letting this slide.
And nothing happened. They didn't even bring up his websites in the news articles. So not saying that things wouldn't have happened to other children with all the guys. That
No,
I
you
caught.
have to think that. I mean, how many people
That's what it makes me feel
through
like.
that inactivity had their lives ruined?
Yeah, because there's those guys are still, they haven't been arrested. I still have the information right now. I'm ready to hand it over again whenever they want. But the guy Nathaniel Larson, the guy running the website, that's in prison, the 12-year-old would have never been kidnapped and raped if they would have took him. If they would have
listened to you.
If they listened to me the first time, and it's just.
That's got to be frustrating.
It was frustrating. It's frustrating to me now, even thinking about it. So it's getting it got me motivated to do something in this field. Not only just to help, but I didn't want any notoriety. I didn't want my name attached to anything. The only time my name was attached is when we started to do things together. I stand behind the camera when Scrappy confronts them. But now I'm okay with that. It's fine. But the goal was never about me. It was about the kids.
Right.
Does it become overwhelming at times? When I was with Valuetainment, we had a Facebook moderator on, and two of the things, there was three things about that interview that drove me out of my mind. The first one was that they have access to everybody's information at all times. Like, they can read Hillary Clinton's messages if they're on WhatsApp, and that's in the term of agreement, and everybody uses it. That's wild. Two is that they shut people down for dissenting political opinions all the time, and it's a button. They just hit a button, and that's it.
Yeah.
Guy's gone. But they know that there's entire groups that have child pornography. There's animal cruelty groups where they get on at the same time, and they'll slaughter animals live via Facebook Live, and they know this is happening.
Right.
And it takes months for some reason to shut these groups down, and then the groups get on a Discord server and get another group together, and all 30,000 of them are in another chat the next day.
Right.
From the outside looking in, the frustration is, one, it becomes overwhelming that this many people are doing this, right? Like, is it actually, how many people are engaged in this? Let me try to organize my thoughts for a second because I'm rambling. I'm sorry. This is a lot to process. When you say that there's 3,000 people, are there 3,000 people actively engaging in this? How many people are watching because it's macabre or they're just...
So that's actually a great question. This specific website, and 3,000 is nothing compared to what the real number is and what we're actually dealing with. This is just one website. To to get onto this website, to become a member of it, you had to fill out an application where you had to answer all of these horrible questions that anyone in their right mind, even if they were interested in reading it for the macabre reasons, like you said, they would have to answer questions about what they liked about
means,
children.
right, Scrap? I didn't think so. I barely know.
It means like bad.
It's like dark. Like,
Yeah.
kind of dark. Like,
I don't like.
Gerard likes to
watching-
show off with his big little words.
Like if I asked you this question, let's say you like dark things. If I asked you this question, what's so attractive about a 9-year-old's boobs?
Yeah.
Would you answer that question?
No,
Exactly.
That in and of itself, it would almost be like a fucking asking this question. Like,
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
Fed.
Of course, you can sign up for an account if you fake these answers, but I would say there was a lot less people there trying to, participate for the thrill factor rather than, I can't tell you for a fact, but I can, it's just opinion.
Well, so the reason I asked, like when I was in college and freshman year, what was it, like Faces of Death was a big website like going around, and like it just goes around a college dorm, and like you're kind of a pussy if you don't look at it, and you're like, I don't ever want to watch this. I don't want to see somebody getting beheaded by a cartel. Like, this is gross.
The Pain Olympics. Remember?
Yeah, that was unreal. With the guy hammering his scrotum to the so there's a part of me that doesn't want to believe that walking amongst us are these monsters.
Better believe it, bro.
I know, but I want to know what the actual threat assessment. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean
like
threat assessment?
Like there are 3,000 people.
There's
really
probably
want.
more.
That's only one website. That's
one
nothing.
website. There's probably way more.
Dustin and I, in 2.5, 3 months, have probably, if you include our decoy, we've probably ran into 3,000 people that may not have started a chat with us, but 3,000 is a low number.
So why is this not like a task force thing? Like, why is this not like priority 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the internet task force? Why are there feds? In your opinion, why are there feds that are watching the Facebook accounts of concerned parents in Austin, Texas that go to, city council meetings?
I don't know why we're not worrying about almost like this at the height of everything else. It's attacking the weak and innocent.
The most vulnerable amongst us. I mean, if we as a society can't protect our most vulnerable, what society do we actually
what effort
have?
are we putting in to do this?
Yeah.
To nip this in the bud, which is what I see you guys doing.
Well, we're doing it more publicly, so I can't speak for the police, and I mean, obviously, jump in anywhere you want, but I do know that the internet crimes against children is something that this county does have. I can't tell you how often they decoy. I can't tell you how often they make arrests. I know that
you guys are very proactive about it.
Yeah, we just do it a different way.
Proactivity is happening elsewhere.
I hope so, but and nothing
really
against
know, right?
them. Nothing against them, but I don't think
just-
so.
No, nothing against them. It
shouldn't
take James O'Keefe honeypotting a Pfizer executive for us to find out that they want to mutate a virus that kills millions of people for profit incentive. It shouldn't fall on Project Veritas. It shouldn't fall on you guys to have to infiltrate these guys and then actually all but apprehend them. I mean, what are the structures we have in place here?
Let's talk about that real quick. So when you guys, after these guys propose a meet, and then you agree to the meet, and you guys are there. So what do you say? Like, meet me in aisle 14 of Walmart or something, or like how does that go down? And then I've seen you guys have them like doing push-ups and doing different things, and then they get arrested on the way out, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty much like our decoy will set up. Like, we'll make it. She tries to be realistic or make it seem realistic. Like, she's 13. They know she can't drive. Most of the time, they'll say, "Well, you can't drive, so how are you going to get there? Or where are we going to meet? Or how are we going to do this? Like, can I pick you up?" And she'll be like, "No, you can't come to my house, but I live near a Walmart." She goes, and then she'll say, "I can walk there." Okay. And so then they're like, "Okay, that seems, legit." So then she'll be like, "Yeah," and like sometimes the decoy will say, like, "We have a." My mom gave me $40 to get a dog collar. That's why I'm going to Walmart. And that's my excuse, because I'm not allowed to be out at past this time or whatever. So we'll have to hang out quick.
Yeah.
And so they'll believe that. So I'll send her. We'll go to Walmart. I'll go to the dog aisle and I'll send a picture of like a dog collar, and then she'll send it to them, and it makes it like she'll be like, "I'm here," like. And in every case, they're pretty similar, like what she has them do for the most part. But sometimes she might say, "We won't talk. Just make sure we see each other, wave, and then I'll follow you out." Because like the predator will be like, "Well, you look so young. I can't just walk up to you and like we can't be seen together." like they know they're doing wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They just can't help it.
They can't help it. So sometimes they'll say that. They'll be like, "How are we gonna do this? Like, you look like I gotta act like you're my little sister or daughter."
So this is not
I've seen people almost in like the news and like these weird organizations almost try and have sympathy for people like that.
Oh yeah, this whole
And it's
there's a whole
California.
movement.
and that shit drives me
Whole
crazy because
movement.
I think called
Love has no
It's-
age. It's
California
like,
that's
is
fucking-
trying
no,
to
it very
normalize
clearly
it.
does.
It does have an age, yeah.
Yeah.
California's trying to normalize it.
A lot of
They're trying
places are, man. And there's a massive community that is behind the normalization. I mean, they're the first thing in politics is to own the narrative, and they want to get rid of. In some circles, they're trying to get rid of the word pedophile because they say it's stigmatized, and they try to change it. Good, they try to change it to MAPS, minor attracted persons,
Yeah.
because you know.
like to normalize it and make it okay.
Yeah, because you
it's
stigmatize.
so far from it.
No
It's
different
just-
than when a legal alien became undocumented citizen. One's a crime, the other is a holdup in bureaucracy, right? So it's
They normalize it until it happens to their kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
no,
it seems like it's, and I guess I gotta kind of watch my verbiage when I say this, but like some people are straight, some people are gay, some people like feet, some people like however people are born and what they like. This one victimizes people. If you're somehow into you go to jail. Like if I had in my druthers, you get a bullet in the head. The same with these pedophiles because they're, you know what I mean. If you can survive and can fight the urges for your life. Good, you don't have to go to jail.
That's tough, man.
You know what I mean?
That's
But you better do it. If you break that cross
Yeah.
that line one time,
Yeah.
you're hurting somebody.
Do you guys think, in all your experience with this, that this is learned behavior, or do you think these people are born with this
Like wires crossed,
yeah.
kind of.
I mean, it goes back to like what you were saying, like people that have had it done to them when they're younger, you know, and then not every case or all cases, but a lot of times they'll be traumatized from it, but then they'll for some reason want to do it to someone else,
Right.
you know. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
So
you know?
my cousin worked in this field. I'll give a shout out to Dr. Stephen Harron, and he wrote extensively.
That's
on
not
this.
the doctor you guys have.
No, he wrote extensively on the subject. So he worked with violent sex offenders who were minors, people that did violent sex offenses before they were 18 years old, and I believe out of 500 people he had at that institution, 490 something had been themselves victims of it.
Right.
And the theory I think goes in those circles is it's about power, and they felt powerless, and then they want to then feel powerful. And that's how they've learned to be powerful, because that was the most powerless they've ever felt.
Yeah, the innocence, you know. Like we had a guy recently say, literally out of his mouth, say, "I guess it was her innocence."
Yeah, we asked what was attractive to him about a 13-year-old girl. We rolled up at his work in the middle of a busy night and asked for Waters and said, "Hey, can we speak to whatever his name is?" And he came up to the table. We said we need to speak outside, or the police are coming. Normally we give them an ultimatum: either you talk to us or we call the police, and then the police come anyway. So he's outside talking, and we asked him that question. We said what is attractive to you about a 13-year-old girl? And he was like, it took him a second, but the first word out of his mouth was her innocence. And when he said that, I mean, obviously there's so much worse that has been said, but just hearing that, I don't know, made my blood boil.
Because it's like he wants to take that innocence away. Like
Yeah, and then there's so much more to that story. That's an hour and a half long catch, if I'm not wrong. Scrappy is, about an hour and a half in, the police show up, which, or the sheriff show up.
And you guys call them ahead of time, or how does that?
So like going back to like the original question with
Right.
Walmart, I like to try to stay in.
I was going to get back to that.
Yeah, so like a lot of time, like in the beginning, we weren't sure if the cops were gonna be on our side. A lot of times, these predator catchers don't have the cops on their side. They don't encourage the catcher to do it.
You make them look bad.
Yeah, they
And encourage vigilante.
Yeah, they don't want to encourage it. So we weren't sure. So for the beginning, we were just gathering all the information, all the evidence, and then sending it in to the detectives. But like the Walmart thing it's just such a realistic way to get them to come there and in the public, safer for us, you know. But yeah, it was just so simple because for us, like setting that up, they just think, okay, we're gonna go in Walmart, meet them, and then we're gonna leave together. That's what they think in their head, you know.
Right.
And then, you know, sure enough, we'll wait over by a section to where we can see the entrance. And not every time do we see them walk in. A lot of times, there's a couple times where they're already in there, and they came way before they said they got there. You know, they were scoping out, make sure there's no cops, trying to like look for her before they said, you know, I'm here.
We show up early too.
Yeah, we show up early too, but we'll go to the dog section. But there's plenty of times that they're just sitting in there waiting, just waiting in dog section on the phone or walking up and down looking, you know. So but it's easier for us to watch from the entrance and to follow them, like see them walk in and then follow them to the dog section, kind of. But yeah,
When they come in, when you guys watch them come in, do they have hesitation? Are there second thoughts? Do they think they shouldn't be doing this? Are they excited?
You must
What
realize
do they,
their freedom's in jeopardy.
no, yeah, of course.
I wonder, or the thrill of the hunt for them. I wonder, like, are they?
Probably a mix of the two, but probably, you know.
No, for sure. They're like, you know, the one guy said he's so dumb. Literally looks at me and goes, "Oh, I know. I got here early and made sure there was no cops."
Yeah, he literally
Like,
said that.
Like, bro, what? Like, what are you doing? What are you saying? Like, you're literally admitting that you know that you're doing something highly wrong. And that's what I asked him. I said, "So you knew this was wrong?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "So that makes you a bad person?" He goes, "Well, no, bad people." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna ask you again." So this like. You know, it just doesn't process in my head.
They're able to justify it.
They try.
And that
to
right
fulfill their
there
needs.
is what really pisses me off. It really makes me want to just smash their head.
But how
against the
it's
ground.
like I can almost sympathize with that because how could they not want to smash their own heads and kill
They
themselves?
literally
you know
want
what
to
I mean?
justify their actions, and they all do
Well,
it every
have
single
to,
time,
right?
I
They
mean,
kind of have to be okay with. I would think being alive and.
I guess. I mean,
you
if
know what I
they
mean?
don't
Like,
have,
That's a good point. Because otherwise, if they knew what they were doing wrong, if they knew
well,
that they
and
were
do
evil,
know,
they
but
would.
A lot of them do
they can't
know.
help
eliminate
themselves.
Still gotta
themselves from
talk.
society.
They
They
Go
literally-
in the woods and live a life deliberately, or whatever. Like
they literally can't help themselves.
That'd be way more admirable
in a way.
in a way. What do
In
you
a
mean?
way.
Then
If you were born with that affliction, I really think there's probably only one admirable way to go about it.
which is kill yourself, right?
Can't say that on
And-
YouTube. But
a lot of times we try to wait for the.
Omri, that's gonna have to be bleeped.
A lot of times we wait for the reactions or try to see, like, we'll ask them, because that's what we're doing. We're, like, interviewing them, basically, asking them questions, trying to get in their head to understand why they're here, like,
Sure.
why they're really doing this. How many other times have they done it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is this your first time? Or are you, habitual with it? Whatever. But
It's
lot of that-
remarkable to me that people don't really seem adversarial with you in what you've posted anyway.
what do you
What do you
mean?
mean adversarial?
They're-
The predator.
Yeah, the predator is almost like
They know
happy
they're-
to have the talk.
Well,
it
no,
seems.
they don't have a
No,
choice.
they don't have- they
we'll,
feel like they don't have a choice.
Yeah, because we'll walk up and like when I
They're
walk
caught.
up to them, I'm like, hey, like can we, like a couple times I'll walk up with a dog collar and I'll go, hey, you think this is a good one? And they're like, and I'm like, you're here to meet a 13-year-old, right? Or like, what are you doing here? That's usually I say, yo, what's up, bud? I'm like, what are you doing here?
Have a seat over here.
Yeah, and here's the thing, they're free to go. That's the thing. Everyone goes, how do you guys get them to talk? They're free to go. I just,
I almost
so
want
good.
to cut that part out.
yeah.
I don't want them to feel like they're free to go.
No, because
You
we're
have
not
to.
police. We got to let them know that. We got to say, hey, we can't detain them because that's how these catchers get in trouble. It's illegal to like detain or say, hey, you got to stand here and talk. Now, I won't go out of my way. Me and him gotten better at this. Instead of saying it right in the beginning, we'll wait till they ask us. But I'll just, when I walk up to them, like, let's chat. Initially, they don't want to chat, and they'll try to walk away, or whatever. And I go, okay, that's fine. And thankfully, Ryan's so good at what he does that he can get all their info on them. So as soon as they go to walk away, I say, hey, no worries, we're gonna be at blah 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 where you work. Oh, no worries.
Okay.
This
So
is your
they're-
wife's
then they're
name.
gonna want to stay and almost talk their way out of that.
Oh, this is your wife's number, right? And her name.
Okay.
No worries. We'll
We'll
call
even
her.
have their
Smart.
social media passwords. Their
Smart.
Get outta here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll drop the last four of their social in it, and he'll walk around with the iPad. It'll be
I'll have
preloaded
everything.
with everything.
I'll say, oh, this isn't you, like, and I'll put up a side by side, and they'll be like, all right, let's talk. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's what's best. I'm like, because we can go one or two ways here. You can just walk away and get arrested, and the whole time, like, and I don't. It doesn't matter if they see this because they can't help themselves. They'll still do it. and they won't think it's happening to them, even though 90% of them will say, I hope you're not working for the cops. Hope you're not a predator, one of those YouTubers who embarrasses grown men. They'll say that and they'll still show up. Like, it's just
they fully are aware of it.
Fully aware of it and mind blowing.
I would wonder, because this community seems to be tight, right? Like, and do they kind of catch on to your tactics and put them out there for other people to recognize? Or
No.
Is there like a, hey, fellow?
Nah, they won't, because our decoys are on the sites and they would be able to see if someone's putting like it would be out there. We're too involved with the other catchers that it would be tipped to us. But
do you think these people can be rehabilitated?
My personal opinion, I think the only thing I think that can help them is God. I think them, I believe in God. I'm a big believer in God, and I believe that that's the only way that they could find a solution to their craving to want to meet a minor. I think finding God and having Him help is the only way. I don't think there's anything I could beat one's head in, and they're still gonna wait till they're healed and go back out and do it again. And that's one thing. I get tons of messages now, like tons, and I would say 95% are great positive messages. The other 5% of the messages or comments are, you should be doing more. You should be beating their ass. You shouldn't be recording. You shouldn't be doing that. You should, they have their own, 2 cents. And it's like, of course I would love to beat them up. You don't think like I want to grab them by the throat and of course, like anybody else would, but I can't. I do it once and then it's over with. You know what I mean? Like, then we can't, and we got to think long-term goal. I can't have impulse decisions. I get so many people saying, I admire, you're cool. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would just lose it. I would beat them up. Sure. And it's like, yeah, but you're not being realistic. Like, of course we all want to do that. But if we want to make a real difference, or even a small difference, or make an impact on it, we got to think long-term. We got to control our impulse decisions, and we got to make the right choices. And so for anyone out there that's, constantly asking me, why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? I want to, but I can't. To keep it legal so I don't get charges, so I don't, get in a position to where I can't do this anymore. I got to keep it all by the book. And, and then that's where the punishments come in. The push-ups, the squats. People go, oh, that you think that's doing anything?
I feel like you should offer them almost like a little trick. Like, you should be like, hey, if you sign a waiver, you got to go 5 minutes in the cage with me, and we won't call the cops. But then right after you beat it out of the cops are there.
Well,
it's done before.
The push-ups and the squats though are what people don't understand is we're embarrassing them obviously, and we're exposing them and making them admit as they're doing them, I will never talk to a 13-year-old. I'm a child predator, but
even though they're probably just blowing smoke.
But what it really is a stalling tactic. Everybody wants to think, oh, you're just trying to get content. You're trying to. No, we're doing this to kill time.
Well, that's good to know. I also wondered. I wondered myself. I was like,
well, it's a stalling tactic till the cops come.
That makes a lot of sense on that.
It's like when people ask me that, oh, you're doing it for this. It's like, have you ever confronted a child predator? Do you know how easy it is to keep them standing there and talking and admitting stuff? It's not easy.
When they know you're not the cops, they know they're allowed to walk away. We've told them 20 times that they're free to go because we have to.
The stuff that we're doing is other catchers aren't doing because it's something I thought. I'm like, we got to keep them there until the cops come. So what better way is to, almost make them feel like they don't have another choice. Even though they do, they don't have to do any of that.
Right.
It's like, all right, you don't want to do the squats? Cool, I'm calling your wife right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the weird thing.
That's why I like that you hang that over their head too. Show them,
of course, and then people want to show sympathy for it.
You have to have leverage. I mean,
exactly.
Sometimes people will go up with zero information, and that's what made me valuable in the communities prior to what we were doing. Is that they would do catches and only have the person's username, their alias, and be like, hey, Johnny, and the guy's name might be Nicholas, but they don't know who he is, and they're just hoping the guy's going to sit there and talk to them. But they have no information. So that it definitely helps. I mean, we have a way better success rate of a guy having a long conversation with us when we have info rather than when we have less.
When I walk up and I say their name, and I'm like,
their full name.
I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh. I'm like, going on? What are you doing here? You know, like
Yeah.
why are you sitting here in the dog section?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not? And then they try to like walk away and they say, oh, you know, like they make up their excuses. They start to justify why they're there. And then without physically harming them or in a sense, I corner them and say, well, here's all the evidence. I'm like, what do you want to do?
Unless you've been trained opposite. Like, have you ever been served papers? Like, it's impossible. Somebody comes up to you and you're like, hey, are you making? You'd be like, no. Like, it's like impossible. Yeah. Oh, you've been served. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their picture is blown up
you
on
want a picture?
Yes, I do, and you've been served. Well, first of all, you guys are like superheroes, man, and you especially, you're like, thank you for using your powers for good and not
Fuck
evil.
yeah.
Thank you.
I would be
100%.
probably trying to, like, you know, blackmail ex-bosses or something like that for a payout, you know. But
I've had a good childhood and teenage years. I had fun.
yeah, I bet. Yeah. But and also, like, do you get into a situation now where you've seen so many people that have done so many wrong things that now everybody you meet, you're like, well, let's see what's in this laptop.
Absolutely, and I don't. You know, it's even a thing with girlfriends. You know, like the people say to me, like, well, you know, if you have the ability to go through your girlfriend's phone or Facebook and know where she's at all times,
I have the ability to do that remotely.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't do it. You know, it's something you would think I would abuse, but I don't. And the reason why is because, you know, you do it once with a girlfriend, you're never going to trust her again, which is irrelevant to what we're talking about. But
No, it's not. It's not because
I
you know.
don't want to know.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know, and the reason I ask, because then this is why it ties back in, and this is kind of what you said before about like looking around. It's like, how do you go about? Well, do you have kids?
No, I have
Do you have kids?
No.
I have 3 godchildren though.
We got so
Yeah, I have
like
godchildren.
It's almost like
And I have baby sisters, and I feel that protective
it's
urge
seeing
as
the
well,
Matrix.
you know?
It's like you know too much. It's like, how could you ever
that's-
live your
and
life
that's one of the
without
things
crippling fear?
I think we spoke about this. So I'd like looked into this like a while ago, and I actually through Matt Brown talked to like some people who like do this like on like some high levels, like ex like military guys, and like they said the shit they've seen is like has made it so that it's been hard for them to enjoy their lives, enjoy their own children, seeing like dumpsters full of like dead babies and like wheelbarrows full like just sick shit, like sick shit. And it's but I think and someone's got to do it. People got to go up against this.
We talked about-
and you know our us being fighters, like we have that protective, you know, instinct. Like it's very strong.
A lot of them can tell too. Like it's, you know, they'll look in the back. I can see you're getting very angry, or like, you know, like the one kid. I think I had like it was like a Thursday, so at sparring day, and I had a mark on my face, my cauliflower ear, and he's sitting there looking at me. He goes, instead of calling the cops, could you just like hit me a couple times?
Yeah, that was great.
He goes, can you just like beat me up or
Yeah, you
something?
wish.
And I'm like, and I told him, I said, dude, I'd love to like beat your ass right now, but I can't, you know. But
He was a juggalo too.
yeah, he was shaking.
I don't know if you know what that is.
That's I do.
ICP.
Yeah. Sorry, juggalo, ICP fans, but
Yeah.
That's not all juggalos.
Yeah,
not all
Just
juggalos.
most of
It's
them.
not all.
yeah, just 95%.
It's not all Gas Digital listeners. So the
But no, a lot of them though. Like, and the problem is, more importantly, like we don't know what they're doing there. Like they say, like, oh, we're just here to meet. We're just here to say hi. Yeah. So what? You say hi, and then she, you know, the rebellious child that's trying to get away from her parents, or you know, just be rebellious, because teenagers are, especially at 12, 13, 14 years old. You know.
12
Yeah,
seems
they
so
don't
young.
know.
Seems
They're
so-
And no, they don't know. They don't know. But think about, you know, how many kids though are they parent themselves. Parents are gone. They're doing and are the rebellious. They hate their parents, so they're on chat. They're trying to get attention from other people.
Sure.
So grown man, no problem. Then what? Oh, just trying to meet. But then here's the biggest thing I say every time is like sex trafficking.
Yep.
It's the biggest. It's huge.
So
And yeah.
well, that's the guy we were talking about, just to you know, kind of illuminate what you're talking about. The guy that we had talked about was the ex-CIA guy who then left, and now he works, you know, hunting down these sex trafficking rings. So when he was in the CIA, they would come across these sex trafficking rings, and this was a great way for some of these cartels and these other things to make money to, you know, to finance everything else that they were doing, and the CIA wouldn't do anything about the sex trafficking because, the suspected terrorism was the bigger mark, right? So then when he got out, he was like, we got to break up the sex trafficking. And he's the guy that's like, it ruined life for me. I can't look at a strip club the same way.
You've had the same. So mine's a different guy.
No, I think we had this conversation.
No. Yeah, I told you
Nick.
that this happened.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Said he can't look at a strip club as.
He's like, you just, you used to go, he was in the
No.
Marines, you go to the strip club and your buddy would have a bachelor party, and now he's like, these girls are sold into slavery.
Literally.
And he knows it. And
That's how it is.
can't, so like life, he looks at,
It's almost like it numbs them from joy in other parts of their life.
You get a
And it's
pedicure
like a
on
real
a
Smaller
thankless-
scale, like on a smaller scale, that's how I felt after we started doing this. I was telling him,
You guys
I'm like,
must. The way you're saying,
I
you're
was like,
questioning
I
everybody
feel,
you see.
I feel
Yeah.
awkward flirting with a 28-year-old woman. I feel almost weird, like
show me your ID. Let me
no,
scan it.
I'm talking about like just
because she was a baby. She was a big kid one day.
just being just flirting with her, just like like in my head, I'm like, I feel like it just makes me feel weird. Like, am I doing something wrong now? Like, because
like what if you were this mega popular, I don't know, like a movie star who like is notorious for only dating 19-year-old women? Like, is it weird if this guy is looking at 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds and then waits for them to be 19, or is that noble because he's not acting on his impulses?
I mean,
According to the law, it's legal. According to most people's opinions,
morality
it's
is
horrible.
a different answer.
This is a bigger problem than I think people. I mean, we're all old enough. How old are you, Ryan?
29. I'll be 30.
You're a
in
little
2 months.
younger, and you're
28.
you're all younger. When I was a kid, the biggest star in the world was Britney Spears, and there was like a countdown on MTV until she turned 18.
What?
That was like
Yeah.
the thing. It's like the whole idea was like she was the queen of jailbait. Like that was, but that's America.
that's like that
Bad baby. And you
Yeah.
can't tell me the fact that she was 15 with early development didn't lead to her popularity.
While you're bringing that up, I actually made this point to a few people. So you guys, I'm sure, are all aware of her making a couple $1 million in a night on OnlyFans.
Yep.
So she turns 18. She goes on OnlyFans. She makes a couple $1 million. That's a significant amount of purchases or subscriptions or whatever people do to make money on OnlyFans.
Sure. He has an OnlyFans.
The day before, she was 17. So at midnight, they all became attracted to her, right?
The minute before.
Yeah.
The minute
Exactly.
before.
That's a
Yeah,
great
the
point.
minute before, they were not attracted to her.
Right.
But at
There wasn't a
midnight,
bunch of 18-year-olds
At midnight now they're
subscribing. There wasn't a bunch of 19, 18-year-olds saying, oh, no,
yeah, I understand she was overdeveloped for her age, whatever, but she's still a child. You know?
So
For sure.
I
100%.
I don't. It's impossible to take it's impossible to take the side of a pedophile, but I have to try at least to give some sort of counter perspective here.
advocate.
I have to.
Quite literally.
So
hard.
there are people I know that were more mature at 16 years old than I was at 25. And there's other people I know that are in their 30s right now that are immature. Is age an arbitrary number for the ability to make these discerning decisions? Is a 16-year-old any less capable of making a decision for themselves than an 18-year-old? What makes 18?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I don't know the science behind it or why they made 16 in some states a legal age of consent, and I don't know the science behind that. But I just say, stay with people around your age or whatever your preference is. But stay away from kids. Like if they act like a kid, stay away from them. If they're 18, 19, they act like they're 12, stay away from them.
If you've been alive longer than, like, you double their age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Half your age plus 7.
We're not psychologists. We're just judging predators.
It's in the
you know what I
Quran.
mean?
Half your
Yeah.
age plus 7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we don't know the psychology behind it. And if we did, we would try our best to educate people on that as well. But what we do know is how to catch these people, how to embarrass them. And our goal isn't to be mean people. Our goal is to educate people and our parents and children.
And again, what you guys are doing is you're not like picking somebody that's 17 and a half years old. You're picking 9-year-olds, 13-year-olds. I'm not.
Right.
I want to be very clear that I'm not coming down on the side.
no,
of the
we didn't
predator
think that.
here. But at the for
It's a good question,
and if
but I
we-
don't think any of us could really answer that.
And if
Yeah.
we caught a 20-year-old talking to, or 19, 20-year-old, someone who's right above age, but like still, we haven't necessarily came across that yet. We had one that we were about to, and the kid got in his car and like left.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he was like 22, but if we talked about it, like what we would do, and we still kind of like, I guess it would depend on the degree of it. But yeah, maybe we wouldn't expose them so much. Maybe we wouldn't call it, like, maybe we would, you know, get their parents involved and really try to get them help, and then have them
Kind of like a
report to us.
judgment call.
Sure.
Yeah, like trying to like say, hey, it's not too late. You're only 19, 20, but like, come on, it's a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, come on, what are we doing here?
Well, there's those Romeo and Juliet laws in some states where it's like you're 18 and she's 14, and they have some sort of
And that's
leeway
what
there.
I'm saying.
You're a
like,
senior, she's a freshman.
I've been a senior, and I've, you know, you look. Everyone's been. I feel like who's been in high school has had situations where they've thought about that, or that's just a situation anyone thinks about. Like, what about a
Sure, you're all in the same school.
What about senior and freshman? It's like, yeah, you know, like it's still, it's one of those things. It's just there's no
tough, man.
set. Yeah, exactly.
it's
There's
tough.
no set, you know, standard on it. I guess. I mean, it's your own personal opinion.
How could anybody like help you guys with what you're doing? Like, do you guys like, I don't know if you guys like funding or what the, like, any way, like sharing your stuff? Like, what do you guys think?
I mean,
'Cause I just think if there's a cause to take up for, this is a hell of one.
Well, first, before that, do you suggest people take up your cause? Would you suggest other people do what you do?
No,
I doubt it. Yeah,
No,
I
absolutely
figured you'd
not.
say
It's
that.
very
Not
dangerous.
without your like skills and acumen. Like, how, you know what I mean? It'd be very difficult, I would imagine.
Not only is it difficult, but you know we put our lives at risk. You know these guys could we're putting them. I mean, there's not many charges, if not any.
You're cornering an animal.
Right. This is
And
probably
they
the
say
worst
it's the
thing to
most
do.
dangerous.
In a concealed carry state.
And you're
Right.
concealed
And we've
carry
been told
state.
by almost every police officer, every sheriff, every detective, we've been told how dangerous these specific offenders are.
say they're the worst.
Yeah, that they're the worst, they're the most violent.
Well, because look what happens to them in jail. They'll do anything to stay out of jail. I mean, it's very well known if you're
Right.
a child predator and you go to jail. That's
And they
right.
know
There's
what's going to
not too
happen
many-
to them.
Yeah,
they
there's
know.
not too many people that have the background as Ryan does to be able to, you know, go and find that and
to mix point corner them. You've
Right,
got to have
exactly.
a corner.
And
He's going to get him in real life. I'm going to get him when I get home.
no, exactly. You know, and I'm not invincible because I'm a fighter. I don't think like that. That's not my MO. Like where I'm, you know, I'll just beat anybody up if they try something. I mean, obviously, does it help that if someone would try something that I am a trained, you know, professional fighter? Of course. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend other people going out and doing it because, you know, they might be trigger happy. They might carry, you know, on them. They might, whatever the case is. I think how we go about it, and I get everyone's concerns, my parents, his parent, everybody. You know, there hasn't been a single person that says, you got to be careful, this, that. But we take all, you know, angles of it, you know, make sure. You know, that's why a lot of it is done in Walmart, in a public place. Is that saying that they couldn't have a gun on them and pull it out? Sure, but we evaluate them. We watch them. You know, we look at them as they're
Ocular
walking.
pat downs.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, we can't touch them.
yeah. So
Sometimes we'll ask them to pull their shirt up and turn around. They don't have to, but they do a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll get that good visual and we'll make sure, you know. And I mean, yeah, I personally wouldn't recommend other people to do it. I mean, I've had people reach out and ask us how they could help. They want to help.
There is ways
Yes,
they can
that
help.
was my question.
So
How could
there
they
is-
help?
There
That was
is
my
some
question.
ways. So as you said, sharing it is huge and has nothing to do with Scrappy and I's notoriety. It's about, you know, showing the predators and
You're
how
shedding
we
light.
caught them. So that's number one. Number two, we would, you know, we'd be happy to work with some other local decoys, not only a female as of right now. We have, you know, some people that we're working with, but the more decoys out there, the better. The more people that are joining applications and pretending to be children. Obviously, you have to be an adult, but we're open
You
to
guys
working.
should be getting government grants for this type of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we're
for
yeah,
sure.
and
For
we
sure.
would like that,
That-
but it's just not realistic because vigilante justice, quote unquote, it's they're not willing to do anything with us.
But if it's backed by the government, is it vigilante then?
No, but then at that point we
Kinda
we
legitimizes
wish
it.
we're
it could
agents
be.
at that
But,
Yeah,
point.
we wish.
but everything
Should
that
be.
you're doing up into probably the confrontation, you're doing reconnaissance.
Absolutely,
There
but
are-
none of it's admissible because it's not done by police. Chris Hansen, to catch a predator, all of his decoys were police officers.
Really.
So none of our evidence until
But there are private sector reconnaissance firms all over the place.
I understand, but from what we've been told by every agency in the country that I've worked with, and Delray and Palm Beach County sheriffs, that our evidence is not evidence unless the predator admits to it in front of the police officer, and they cannot go off the chat logs. They can ask them questions, but until it comes out of their mouth, it's not evidence.
So
Not even their name.
wait. So they're not. are the people that you're confronting and then they're getting arrested, are they not getting charged with anything?
It just depends. Some
have, some haven't.
Some haven't, you know. And it's that's the tough thing about it. Like, you know, we've been told recently that they're going to be very hard on how they go about the rest with us because the decoy.
Who's going to be hard?
Like how they judge it, how they go about it.
You're talking
State
about
attorney,
the
State
DA,
attorney.
the district attorney, state
They're
attorney.
going to look at it and go, okay, well, where was the decoy at when they were decoying? Oh, different state. Okay, now it involves a whole other state. She wasn't here.
That drops one felony
that drops
off.
one felony. Yeah, like they're looking at it like that, and
They're looking to bust you down instead of take your
I
information.
mean, basically, yeah,
Sort of, yeah.
in a way. And they're not. They want to.
I hate government.
But
with
it's
the
like-
police aren't that way.
fucking
It's
beat.
not the police.
Not the
it's
police.
the higher ups.
Yeah.
That they have to go through to get the charges done.
I
'Cause
hear
the
you.
police down here, they looked at us and said, you know, the lieutenant sergeant shook my hand. He's like, I have daughters. He goes, thank you very much. You know, after he arrested the guy. And once it goes up to, you know, district attorney and everything goes up higher, then it's like,
Oh, that's beyond. So you do all this work.
yeah,
you
they'll
find this guy.
all
You
this
get him to
stuff.
admit
And
it.
so do the
and-
police. It takes them hours to write reports on this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, 4 or 6 hours they spend per guy, and then the state attorney's like,
So-
oh, they messed up. The girls in,
So for
in
the-
this state. We're throwing out the whole case.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted to bring up in the beginning. We can do something the police can't. We can expose these guys on the internet. We can reach out to their families. We can reach out to their
We're going to
jobs.
bring it down on them
Yeah,
from now
the
on.
police aren't going to do that.
I'm not going to, since we know now how the police are going to handle it,
Yeah.
I'm
You got to
gonna-
do it internally.
I'm
court
gonna
of
be.
public
I'm gonna
opinion.
be mean as I am gonna be mean as hell because I generally like when they start justifying their actions. That's what makes me just like like I'm pissed off, and we've been pulling the reins back because I'm like, all right, let's not be too much. Like you don't want people screw that. Like it's at a point now where we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna make them do as many push-ups as I want them to until they literally say they can't. You know.
Have
Like-
you been wrong about anybody yet?
No.
You're batting.
No,
a
they've done their
thousand.
due diligence, I'm
Thousand,
sure. Yeah,
yeah.
they're showing up. Yeah.
We had one case recently. Ryan had to take over this one because the guy wouldn't talk. But so we're looking, and Ryan goes, "I think that's the guy." And I go, "I don't know. It didn't really look like his pictures. Kind of did, not really." Ryan's like, "Man, I'm telling you, that's him." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." Like we're rolling the dice on this one. Gonna walk. So I walk up to him. I say his name. Looks at me, just takes off, starts walking. So I start following him. I'm like, "Hey, my man," like, you know. And then I start to back off because I'm like, this dude's just not answering me. And then Ryan's like, nah, it's him. So Ryan stays on him like glue with the camera and follows him throughout Walmart. He's like, you got the wrong guy. This ain't, you guys are going to get arrested. You guys have the wrong guy. I'm not who I think. I'm like, in my head, like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if this is the guy. Like,
It was bullshit.
yeah. Walked out of Walmart, walked 2 miles down Military. We follow him for 2 miles. Whole time he's like, call the police. You're going to get arrested. You're this harassment. You're harassing me. You got the wrong guy. He parked in the he parked at Walmart, but acted like he was, I was just walking. I'm walking home. Cops end up coming. They detain him. The dumbass, or pardon me,
This is gas
You can
station.
curse.
Curse all you
oh
want.
yeah, well the dumbass used his real number for the chat site and his real name, I think. Maybe
Yeah, and he gave the police a fake name
Yeah,
at first,
gave
which
them-
was an arrestable offense. I'll follow up with that.
Yeah, but we have our decoy. That's what we do. Well, if I think like this is going to be a arrestable situation or whatever, in 9 times out of 10 it is. You know, we're not wasting our time going over there to, you know, try to catch a guy who said hi to a 13-year-old. Like he had intent. He wanted
Yeah.
to do stuff. So.
Right. Sexual.
So yeah, so this guy walks 2 miles down Military, and Ryan's staying on him like glue, you know. And this guy's saying, "You don't got it." I text the decoy. I say, "Call the non-emergency number." That's how we do it. So I text the decoy. She calls, and then she'll end up giving him my number or something because he's usually recording. My phone's the only one that's available. And I'll say, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, we're walking down Military." I describe him. All these cops pull up. They detain him. They ask him questions. He lies to them. They ask me on camera, like, from, you know, start to finish, what's going on, what happened. And I give my sworn statement, and they end up letting him go.
Yeah, and they let him go. You know, you can't lie to the police about who you are. If you're being charged with a crime and they ask you for an ID, you have to give it to them. if they ask you for an ID and you're not being convicted of a crime or you're not being accused of a crime, you don't have to give them an ID. So in this case, since our evidence is not generated by the police, him giving a fake name and not providing ID isn't a crime, because what we did isn't evidence. So that he's not being charged with a crime or suspected of a crime because we're not police. So the guy ended up walking free, and to top it all off, which we didn't release this video yet, but to top it all off, we're walking back, which, 2 miles one direction, you got to walk 2 miles to get back. So 4 miles later, we're pulling into Walmart. We see a white Honda Civic pull out. It's him. I already had his VIN number of his car. It was in our notes. We knew it was his car. He pulls out of Walmart and honks the horn twice at us, to be a little bit of a dick. So, we haven't posted the video yet. He didn't get arrested. We don't know if the police are going to follow up with this.
That was like our first one, pretty much, where the guy ran off like that.
Really? He didn't talk at all.
And so he obviously has done it before. You know what I mean? Like, there's no question.
But I know where he lives. I know where he works. I know everything about the guy. And the entire, it had to have been, 2 hours, an hour and a half of walking? I forget what it was. It was a long time.
It was
and
a long.
He just kept saying, "You're harassing me. You're stalking me.
Get away from me."
You threatened me because I told him his address or told him I know where he lives, but I didn't say anything threatening. He said everything in the book that he was going to get the cops to do when they showed up. But he was so confident that we were the ones that were going to get in trouble when they came. But he's the one walking away. So it didn't really make any sense. I think he just didn't know what to do. And
he's panicking. Can you imagine? Like, you get I mean, I'm not a child predator.
Hand
so
in the cookie jar, like
Literally.
you're stuck.
I think, the guy he resembled the pictures a lot. Him walking away made me feel like it definitely was him. Obviously, there was that 0.01% chance that it wasn't him, but if it wasn't him, we would never post the video.
Yeah.
And I'd apologize, which I hope to God we'd never run into a situation where we get the wrong guy.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
I don't think it'll ever happen either, but, in that case, it definitely was the right guy, and I was so sure of it. That's why we followed him to the lengths that we followed him. And that's
How do you plan to expand this and keep this growing and keep, doing more good like this?
Well, that goes back to what I was saying. The more decoys that we can get, the more people, the more area that we can cover for social media and chat rooms. The more
Are you looking for volunteers, or is this?
Yeah. I mean, and like, people gotta understand it's a lot. Like, people think this is just so easy. Like, these decoys are talking to these guys sometimes for months. You know what I mean? Like, and having full on conversations throughout the day. Like, so it does take a lot, but it takes sacrifice on our end too. Like, how many times we've had to cancel things because, or like, we have plans, and then our decoy hits us up and said, "Hey, blah blah wants to meet right now for sex.
You gotta be ready to go.
We gotta go." Yeah, and like, a lot of people.
It could happen right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, literally. And people, they're out there watching and listening to this. Like, if people think we're not handling it the right way, you're more than welcome to go out there and do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do I recommend it? Yeah. No, but I mean, like, we get so many comments and messages like,
It's the internet.
"You're not doing this."
Scrappy, it's the internet.
Come on. No, but you gotta understand, we're putting this out there publicly, and people are seeing these other people comment this type of stuff, and they're going, you know what? Maybe they're right.
No,
and then
I would immediately think that guy's a pedophile.
But they're not. But they're not, though. There's people that'll back up those people saying like, "Oh, you're this entrapment. You're doing this. What about the 13-year-old girl? What kind of punishment is she getting into?" Like, people don't understand. Like, I mean, it's.
Well, I don't understand. Where did you guys disagree on? What was your disagree? What did you say about this?
Don't worry about the comments.
No, and I'm not, but I'm just like, there's people that are gonna view this, and so I'll answer it now, so I don't ever have to comment back or saying it. Like we're not doing this because we want pats on the back. I think it's awesome that articles have been written up. Pages. You guys just said it. Calling us heroes. I don't think we're heroes by any means. I think we're guys that are doing the right thing. We're spending our time doing the right thing. I mean, we could be out doing anything we want, not caring less, but at the end of the day, like, we have hearts and we have people that are related to us that have been through it and victims of it, and we want to make a difference. Feel it's
your responsibility as a man.
Yeah, exactly. If I can do it, if he has the capabilities of finding all this info on him, like you said, thank you for using your skills for what you're doing, Ryan. That's exactly it. That's what it comes down to. People think this is just some publicity stunt or something, which he did it for 2 years with nobody knowing who he was. We did it, me and him, for 2 months before we ever posted anything. And then one MMA page took it, and then it just it took fire from there. And it should, in the sense of people letting, the severity of this, like how bad this problem is. This is a bad, situation that's out there, and it's way worse than what people think. And if we can put it out there and try to expose these guys one by one and show that, like, hey guys, this is very serious. You guys, everyone else needs to take this serious. And these people could be your neighbors.
So let's move on to like something preventative, right? If you are a parent that's watching this, or if you are, somebody who has young sisters, young siblings, young people in their lives, right? From the experience of you doing this for 3 years now, you're saying?
2.5. So
Yeah. What steps can these people be taking to insulate their vulnerable loved ones from these predators?
I mean, monitoring their
internet
devices,
usage,
any of their devices, like you got a child who's, under 17, 18 years old, like maybe
40-year-old parent doesn't know how to use Snapchat. They don't give a shit. They've never been on social media.
Well,
they need to be educated.
They need to be educated.
YouTube, I mean, who doesn't know how to use Bing, Google? If you don't, then ask a friend, just how to monitor my child's phone.
Specific. Give me 3 specifics that a young single mother with young children right now
without
can
hacker capability.
Without hacker
you can dumb it
capability.
down for us.
Give me 3 things that she can do right now to protect her children.
Open their iMessage or their messages if they have an Android. Go in their Snapchat, ask them who their friends are, and then just go through their phones. Start
and then
clicking
outside of
buttons.
that,
I don't
nowhere
There's so much more than
It's
that.
simple, huh?
well,
It's simple.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like it's what you would think.
No,
You
yeah, I gotta-
monitor
I-
their
Just
phone.
watch
and
what
their-
they're doing.
No, I got to push
So
back. I
nowhere-
didn't have social media growing up, but if my mom went through my dresser drawer while I was at school, I didn't talk to her for a month. So, I mean, there is that personal autonomy as a kid.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
own
you don't want to be a
privacy.
helicopter parent, but you also don't want to be a parent that
Has their head in
and
the
that's
sand.
those kids that
Yeah,
are
that's
doing
right in
it.
the sand,
Both,
yeah.
both
Okay,
ends.
I'm going to be very specific. How can a parent do this without their kid finding out they're doing it?
Well, know where they're
360
going also.
Life 360, well, that's what I was about to bring up. There's an app called Life 360, which can give you the location of your family without them being alerted that they're being tracked at that time. So, I'm not
That's called
sponsored.
Life 360.
Yeah, I'm not sponsored by them, nor do I even know in depth of what their product does, but I know it's a very common one for children to be tracked in their location. It's not going to show you their text messages, though.
I mean, if your child's under 18, know what they're doing, know where they're at, check in. Like, I mean, growing up, I'm a boy. My dad's still anywhere I went, either called the parents. He wouldn't just let me go anywhere and
Yeah,
just
but also
do
as a
anything.
teenagers to try to push that as far as you can. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, but we're talking about 12 and 13-year-olds. These
Sometimes less.
even less.
Yeah.
That they're on there talking and thinking that
Yeah.
And maybe, like you said, their parents are helicopter parents. They're very protective, so that's why they do it. They're rebellious. You know what? I'm going to go, this guy's older. Awesome.
So it's counterintuitive almost.
Yeah.
So the more you check, the more they want to.
It could be both ways. So in the end, know where they're going. You know what I mean?
I've read that the video games. I sound like so old. The video games, but I've read that there's like World of Warcraft and some of these like open world games. These people meet up there and and form these relationships through these avatars,
Right.
and then they eventually meet in person. Is
Right,
that
and a lot of them will pretend to be something they're not. Like it started off with the term catfish, and it's basically the same way, except they make this alternate personality that they live online, and it's so much more common than I'd like to believe. You'd like to believe it. It didn't happen in my teenage years. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
People played video games, but nobody was. Nobody
Online
was
with the world.
had their a VR headset on
Yeah,
in a different
I imagine
universe.
the metaverse. So how are you going to
Yeah.
monitor things when they're in the metaverse going forward, and these things are
That's-
decentralized?
I don't know.
Well, when we get there, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, it's think about how a 13-year-old's on a teen chat, Florida teen chat. That's a public one. Anybody can get on there, and then these grown men are having accounts like they're 15-year-olds. And they're having conversations, and then they finally admit, okay, I'm not really 15. I'm 30 years old.
That's
and
what I was. Yeah.
That's what
That's what I
happened.
was thinking.
That was
I
our
thinking
se- our
they would
third- second
pretend.
catch did
They would
that.
pretend to be. Well, how were you able to identify them through
He sent
backtracking them?
His first photo he sent was not him.
It was of a musician.
Of a musician.
And then and then our decoy keep prying, listen, I'm not gonna hang out until you really They're like, okay, and then it takes a selfie, you know, and it's a 55-year-old guy from Miami.
Yeah, and
you
I
know
was
what I
able
mean?
to
On a teen chat.
do reverse
Right.
facial recognition, which is not like reverse image searching. I'm measuring 120 points of the face and then taking that against a very large database and identifying who that person is.
Now, what if your decoy as an adult was talking to an actual kid? She was just kind of trying to quickly move on.
So anytime, any
Wait,
other time,
that's a great question. So you're talking about they're obviously talking to multiple people at the same time.
Well, yeah, but
she won't
because
respond.
I bet
Yeah,
someone
she doesn't
If they-
message
if-
anyone.
once she.
well, they always
but
say
what if
sex,
like
age, location. They always say that's how this conversation start. What's your ASL?
Okay.
Yeah.
Age, sex,
ASL?
location.
She
She never starts a
They say
conversation.
that's how it starts. Yeah, our decoy never starts a conversation. She has an account online, and the person will message, say, "Hey, what's up, cutie? What's up?" She'll say, "Hey, how you doing? What's your ASL?" They'll say, "Oh, 40."
Or they said 14,
14. Then
and we're lying,
14, and they were lying.
lying and trying to like lure them somewhere.
She won't entertain
pursue.
it. Yeah, she won't pursue it because then
That's
she just
probably a
drops
whole
it.
other sect of guys that could be, you know, acting like they're a kid and then show up somewhere.
True.
They kidnap a.
And
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And we'll get them one day. I mean, we were talking earlier. Scrappy and I were talking before we even got here. One of the people that decoyed for is Courtney Elizabeth. She's also a catcher. She decoys and catches in her state. She told me that she saw one of the guys that we caught in the same teen chat room using the same username this morning. So the guy we had,
And he has kids.
He's got kids.
Drove
He has his address.
He drove 2 hours.
He drove 2 hours to meet a little girl.
A 13-year-old at Walmart on a Friday night.
Yep, and this morning I get the text message from her that he's in the same chat room with that. He didn't even change his username. That's how dumb this guy is and dangerous he is.
Are there
Yeah, shout out to Courtney.
are
Yeah.
there
Shout out to
hotspots? Are there certain areas of the country that are known to be worse? Is LA worse? Is there are there
I think it's
places
everywhere.
It's got it
Everywhere.
everywhere. Man.
Everywhere.
everywhere?
It's everywhere.
And that's another reason to go back to like why we do this. South Florida, there's no other catcher groups down here on this end. And I mean, it's like why if we have the capability of doing this, even if we save one kid in the future, it's worth it. You know what I mean? I
absolutely.
mean, he has the skills to do it. I have the confidence of walking up to him and the will, like the control, self-control to not, put my hands on him.
How close have you gotten, right? To like how, when you stare into the darkness stares back, right? So, and with your capabilities, has there been discussions of, especially when the police refuse to pursue, we have to do something. This guy has to be taken off the streets.
Yeah, I mean, I've always
And we
wanted.
can edit anything out if you guys.
I mean, I always wanted.
not to implicate yourselves.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
I asked
I'm really
him-
very true.
I asked him, before, like, is there a way we can get something written up from a lawyer? Like, maybe we tell him, like, hey, we're gonna call the cops, or you can put these gloves on and
That's what he was
box
saying before,
box
yeah.
me right now. Of course, I'd love to be able to do that.
There's other ways,
Yeah, there's other ways. I mean,
we do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just like I said, we don't want to implicate ourselves.
yeah. It's just hard, and that's why we can go as far as making them do squats, push-ups in the front entrance, making them announce it. Like, there's so many reasons for that tactic.
Yeah,
It's a
but
stalling
scrappy.
tactic.
It's like you just talked about. You put in all these man hours. You spend 6 months of your life on somebody. You got them. They're fucking evil, and then they just get to walk away.
I mean, not all the times. I mean, we'll do everything we can to not let them walk away. But I mean, we're doing everything. Like, we're notifying their family, their job.
No, I do.
We're
I'm not
doing-
coming at you.
We're doing. Of course,
I'm not coming at you.
No, I
I'm
get what
saying,
you're
how do
saying.
you handle that frustration? How do you
mean-
process that defeat?
Well, it's not just
it's-
us. It's our decoy too. She goes by Decoy. Her name's Tori. She decoys for a living. That's her job. And I can't. She talks to people for sometimes months, sometimes years, and she relies on us. She works with other organizations too. That's why I mean years. But sometimes she'll be talking to someone for multiple years, and then she has to hope that the group that's going to go confront this predator is going to be able to talk the guy into staying. And sometimes the guy just walks away like nothing happened, or they don't get out of their car, or they just speed off immediately as they see a camera. And then she has to think, oh, crap, I just spent 2 years talking to that guy. I'll never hear from him again.
it's got to be
over.
frustrating.
Yeah,
So
that's why we make a good team, though. Like,
we
'cause-
make a good team.
because of him having the background and being able to say okay, and then me being able to look them in their eye and like, you know, and I will say there's probably been a couple of them that were probably more scared of anything of me just like getting in, looking at them and saying like, you know, what the thinking, dude? Like, you know, and then they're like, chill. So I mean,
have you had the opposite? Have you had somebody that was almost like grateful to be caught? Like,
grateful?
Thank God, yeah, like thank God this is over. Like,
No. Exactly. That would happen on Hanson sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be
And
almost like,
to go on
it's
what
like
you were
almost like a
saying,
relief.
how do we expand this? I mean, we have obviously it might be a little bit. It could be next month. I don't know, but we plan on eventually doing our own sting houses and doing the whole, you know, catching them, you know, with them coming in. Because once we go there, then we'll be able to get solid arrest.
Well, I got to tell you, with the data you guys have, not to give you guys business ideas here, but the data that you guys have, and with how articulate you are, and with the anecdotal information that you've acquired, you know, I think that every parent in every school district would want to know what you know, and you can arm them with information, and that would be something that you know you could absolutely. You're talking about grants. Maybe you can't get grants to do what you're doing, but I can't see any school district in America that wouldn't want to have you guys speak to their kids for an hour at a what are they called when everybody gets together?
An
assembly, an auditorium,
yeah.
and also to speak to a board of education meeting where parents can come out and arm the community.
Let them know how
with
serious.
the information that you have and with some solutions, you know, that they can help save their children.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe you can't be everywhere at all. It's the Batman thing. You guys can get a couple of them, but you can't get all of them. But you can, and this is why, you know, Mick, thank you so much for having these guys on. This is, you know, we may, you know, introduce somebody to this and they can contact you and arm themselves with the tools and information they need to save their kid.
Yeah, we'd be happy to help anybody, a school, a parent.
I mean, that's why we do it.
That's why we're doing it.
You know,
Yeah,
and
so.
people can help us by, you know, sharing our stuff so other people are aware. You know, so maybe it gets shared to 20 people, but there's one of those people that's a parent that has a 13-year-old kid who goes, you know what? Let me look at your device, and hold on, you're talking to a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
And then right there, boom, you know, that could be what all this is. You know,
I think more, again, because just from somebody that you know has been around teenage girls to my two younger sisters, that's going to be a tough one. Let me see your phone. Let me see your iPad is going to be a tough one for any parent. But maybe there's
they pay for it, so
that could be a good kind of
that's a tough one.
like an app to figure out.
There's an app.
Like, you can almost like, you know,
Monitor.
you can spy, monitor,
Or even
I
some
hate to
warning
use the word
signs.
spy, but like that a parent could have put if they're buying that phone for that kid, they can have access to whatever's on that screen whenever they want through some app.
Or maybe I'm thinking more along the lines of like, what are some warning signs parents should be aware of? Like, are these guys buying them gifts? Are gifts showing up? And then like,
they're luring them. They're saying, "I'll buy you this. We'll go do this. We'll go do that." You know, like they're trying to lure. That's what they're doing. They're trying to like soften up the kid, basically.
And maybe because you guys are stretched all the way in, maybe this is somebody listening. Maybe this is something you can offer these guys. Come in and aggregate this information and say, look, this is statistically, these are the steps these guys take. They're gonna buy a gift. If you start seeing these things around your 10-year-olds, you know, who bought this for you or whatever. I don't know. Take some sort of inventory that would then justify that moment of breaking the trust and being like, I need to see your iPad or whatever, because you can't just be paranoid, because then you're going to scare the kid away.
I mean, I don't know how else besides us posting it and letting people, and these people admitting it on camera, what they're doing, and you know, knowingly they're doing wrong. What else we could do? I mean,
it's nuts. You get these guys to admit, and then the DAs won't prosecute. That's nuts.
And I get so many messages.
Frustrating.
I get so many personal messages since this has taken off on, you don't know how much this means to me. I was a victim when I was 12 years old. I was, you know, so many people, and that's why I'm like, it like literally turns my stomach, and I'm like, look at this message. I show Ryan, I'm like, look at this. This like person like venting their heart out to me, like saying this happened to me. You know, it's like, this is real, and maybe I need to start, you know, blocking their name out and posting it. And, you know, and every time someone comments, so people can really see, like, oh my goodness, like, this is a serious situation. I mean, sex trafficking.
Yeah, it isn't entertainment. This is real life.
It's awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And once again, I say, push-ups, the squat that isn't for any type of, I mean, yeah, it's humiliating to them, but it's not for our amusement. We're not doing it literally to go, ha, ha, ha. Like, sometimes do they look ridiculous when they're trying to do it, and we might smirk? Yeah, sure. You know, because they're idiots, you know, and they deserve to look like an idiot and to be made fun of. But
it's the best thing that could have happened to them. Imagine if someone showed up without a camera.
What if it was the older brother? What if it was Mickey walking up saying,
Sure.
Hold on.
I think that's kind of what he wants to do.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I've had, you know, others reach out offering, wanting to, you know, get involved and help other fighters. Jared Gordon, you know, wants to help out.
Yeah, when you first posted it, I don't know if you remember, I reached right out. I was like, bro, you got to tell me more about this.
Yeah, he's literally what you said.
Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to help people. I mean, we got two very unique gifts, and we might as well use them. You know, and people want to call it God's work. Go ahead and call us heroes. That's fine. But in the end of the day, we're not doing it for any of that. We're doing it because we know that we're stopping. You know, potentially stopping bad guys doing things to innocent kids.
Protect the kids.
Protect the children. 561 PC.
That's right.
Protect the children. But
amen.
No, yeah. Anyone out there that has any ideas or, you know, has suggestions or anything, we're open to it. We're not closed-minded.
Give your Instagrams real quick.
Yeah,
we'll post it. It'll be posted, but just
you can follow us at 561 PC. My personal one's Scrappy at 135 MMA.
And mine is the number 0, like the digit 0 DAY 0 day, and my name's Ryan Montgomery.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys have ideas, suggestions? We're open to it. We're not. We don't think we know everything. You know, we just want to help. We just want to, you know, try to
maybe
make
anyone in
forward.
law enforcement who would like to get involved and help this out on some.
I know it's really sticky for them. They usually can't. They can't get involved at all.
I want a retired prosecutor to help you guys.
You couldn't have like
that'd be fantastic.
Like an active police officer playing a decoy. That wouldn't work.
We could if they'd be willing to do that.
Yeah.
But we would also have to be working with them somehow, even if it was like for $5 a month. We would have to have an official contract for it to be held up in court.
Yeah.
But watch the ironic part. This is a whole other discussion. But like, pretend, let's say it was the head of the school district that Scrappy and I catch. You think that he's not getting arrested? That he's not going to prison? Because he damn sure is. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't give you an actual reason why our evidence isn't evidence unless the person's important in that area. But that is absolutely the case.
And so everybody knows. We want them to get arrested. We want the worst for them, just like everybody else does. So anybody who thinks that, you know, we don't try to get them arrested or they don't see the full clips, you know, because on Instagram we can only post so much.
Right.
Like, we want the worst punishment for these guys. Of course, we would love to turn the camera off and beat them up, but we can't. And just so, you know, to make that clear, every time we try to turn them into the cops, we do our best to get them arrested, and as far as we can go with it. And
it really weighs on Scrappy. They can't beat these guys 5 times. He's like, I wish I could beat these guys.
Because
he's probably heard it so much.
I get so many comments and messages, like so many people out there, why don't you just beat them up? Why don't you kick them in the face? Why don't you if you really wanted to help, you would just turn the cameras off and beat them up. Like, then you go ahead and do that.
You'd be a felon.
Yeah, exactly. You go get a charge and do that and try to see if that made a difference. I mean, because it's not, and we got to think long term, and we gotta hold ourselves as professionals.
Yeah, if anything, it's more.
Anyone who's not an idiot, listen to this, has to realize these are two guys doing great things. So any way you could, you know, show your support and support these two, you know.
We'd appreciate it more than
we appreciate it. And we don't need pats on the back. We just need the understanding that we're doing this.
You guys need help.
I don't think that's even a question, Scrap.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even a question that. You know, I mean, your intentions are pure, and you know, you guys are doing good shit.
100% pure. I mean, it's just, and we thank you guys for having us on to help spread, you know, the awareness, because obviously you guys know how bad the situation is and how important it is to get it out there. So,
well, we'd love to have you back, and next time we want to hear about how successful the awareness campaign has been and how many people have helped you, and also how much hacking you did in your teenage years.
I got a crazy story for you there.
You got one for us? We got a little bit of time.
All right, well, I'm going to probably pee my pants, but it's a long story.
Before you go, do you know Mudge, Peter Zapko?
No.
You don't know that guy? He's a real big. He was just most recently the Twitter whistleblower. They brought him in to do the.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Gotcha.
friend of mine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
great guy, jiu-jitsu black belt. Yeah, really good dude.
So
We're gonna get him on once all that stuff clears.
So
that
now
would be
we're not
cool.
going to hear the great story to end cap this.
No, that's how we
Before he
continue
pieces
this.
Hey,
We'll
all
continue
right.
this. But real quick, can I give a shout out?
Yeah, shout out.
sure.
Go.
I just
Load him up.
just quick shout out to Courtney and T-Coy for both, decoying and helping us out with this. They're part of this as well, so it's very helpful. And anyone else that like I said has suggestions or want to get involved and think they could actually make a real impact for us, we're open to it.
Yep, and our Instagram is 561PC, like Paul,
Chris.
yeah, 561PC. Yeah, protect the children.
And our YouTube channel's 561 Pred Catchers, but you can type in 561 PC and you'll find us there as well. So
Yep.
Guys, check them out. Check them out. Support.
This has been a great episode, man. It's great having you guys. Mick, you want to take us out?
Well, this is the Slick and Thick podcast with 561 PC. Peace.
Peace.
yeah.